it's your boy Young Love. I give him that thing. Pancho leg stand and Panchi America. Panji Dwala Banaban. Pancho leg stand and Panchi America. Panji Dwala Banaban. Walk on your leg. Kankara water no watching. Oga leg gear. Wow, leg. Panda with ya. Panchi America. Panya Dwala Bana. Chingatonga Pandon could you ever buy a check? Papu Panda Jiro. What ya be Dwala venting? Stand up Panchi America, Panji Dwala Banaban, Pancha leg stand up Panchi America, Panji Dwala Banaban, walk on your leg, Kankara water no watching, Oga leg gear, pow, leg, Panda with ya, Panchi America, Panya Dwala Bana, Chingatonga Pandon, Kujura by a check.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lagos State Media. Your host for the show for this evening is, my name is Abraham Majak. I'm your host. Our guest is here. I will play a little bit the music while we're waiting for the audience to turn the show. For those of you who are watching right now, thank you for tuning in. Please start sharing the video. So before we start our show, start sharing, please. Thank you. Let me play a little bit of music. You know them, you know that, you know to them. But you will yell, but you're going you're young president here, who might not be Rogamarda. You got the dog coming, and one you know the king, we own the word of them. We are ruling number one night. I hear the king of Tongo, you're back Panaro, the girl, you won't be able to your ruler. Lord Young Panidi, and no man name, good young Panalira, yeah, go on the right, but don't young, but the law and the more in Matuan, for the Tongo guy you can, for the thing, and the other, you come with you, but I did not go by, and I'm not who got the pay, you got I will go to me, okay, you might young by your maculet, and the pay you to not your chicken again. Yeah, Maganica, me will run to the guy, you love it, there I go, and I jar. Let you do, and you pay me at where you're the deal, you go along. Young Magarma joking out to my young cocaine, Maria, your wood. Young when you go for them before I join, and I think you're up, my damn, a bill that by Magangi. Get it down, I will my young Gayana, loving your more mask, yard, my door, by that white, young Barbara, when I go poor, you put them, the guy, for young Mapanya, Lindian, the poor Malanga, you'll pay the door, oh my yellow room, a joke. You know them, you know that, you know to them, but you will yell, but you're going you're young president here, who might not be Rogamarda. You got the dog coming, and one you know the king, we own the word of them. We are ruling number one night. I hear the king of Tongo, you're back Panaro, the girl, who won't be able to your ruler. Lord Young Panidi, and the old man name, good young Panalira, yeah, who gone the right, the Dormanyang, and the law and the more in Matuan, put a tongue guy you can, pull a tank, and the other, you come with you, but I did not go by, and I'm not now, no got no pay, you got I do have a boy to be okay, the Marjang by your Maculet, and the play, you to not your chicken again, yeah, mechanical, me will not think a guy over there. I go a jayar. Then you do a me by you, let the outing go along. William Magarma joking out to my young Papa Marian Joe. Them when a corner but them before I join and I think you're up. When them a bill that by my gun. Kadidanay kwero manyang kagaya na daling murma kuyar madol banyak tuai yang para banyak tur kunyi bordem kagaya kayar mau banyak litianay ketua malangga jul kerutuar kumai jalo kurma jok. You know that you know to them, but you really yell, but you're getting yay. You're young president here, who I love you, Gamada. You can't do that coming, and one you know a king, we young, no where them. We are ruling number one yay. I hear that you don't move, you're bad, but not all of the joy. Won't be able to your ruler. Lord Young can lead the church, and they all my name, good young Panalira, yeah, go. Right, but Dormanyang, and low and the more in Matuan, Kulutan Moga, you can, Kulutan, and Yari, you come with you, where I are dark of by, and I'm not now, God, okay, but I are going to be okay, could be my young by your Makulet, and play you to not your Gigan, yeah, Mechanical, me will I'm in the gang, you love and there I go, and I jar, when you do, you by you let the outing go along. William Magarma joking out to my young Papa Marian Joe. Then when the corner but them before I join and I think you're up when them a bill that ride my candy. Kadidane where my young Kagayana loving your more man to yar Madol Bayan White, young Barbara Payaga, poor could you put them in Gaga, Payama Panya Lindiana, the poor Malanga, June. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. My name is Abraham Medit. I'm one of the Lake State Media hosts. This evening, I would like to welcome our brother, Dr. John, Dr. Sandy John, and his Christian name is called Emmanuel Sandy John. Emmanuel, welcome to Lake State Media. Thank you for accepting our invitation to this evening. For those of you who are watching, good evening and good night everywhere and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you who are watching, please start sharing the video. For this evening, we will conduct the show in English because some of our audience, they don't speak, some of them, they don't speak Tongwanjang or Arabic. And we would like the non-Dinka speaker, they can hear what we have, our fan. Most of them and some of them are not Dinka. So for this, when we talk about the nation thing, we need to use the language that people can understand. For general cause, South Sudan have 64 tribes. Emmanuel Sandy John, welcome to Lake State Media. Please, I would like to give the floor to introduce yourself. And from there, we will start the show. Welcome to Lake State Media. I know it's 11 o'clock p.m. in Nairobi time. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you very much, the co-host of Lake State Media, Mr. Abram Madit Majak, for the opportunity and the invitation. To our audience, wherever they are worldwide, I greet you all in the name of the Republic of South Sudan and in the name of the Most High, Almighty God. To introduce myself, I can again reiterate the very names that you know. I am Dr. Emmanuel Sande de John, the interim chairperson or chairman of South Sudan United Front Army, and I will be readily available for today's sessions, and I will be able to take questions from across the divide so that there is nothing like prejudicial aspect that can be considered or construed in our talk. So I have no problem. I'm not limited to specific questions. I can get the exploratory questions from every other direction, and I will be interested in responding simply because the society is supposed to get the satisfaction it deserved. Having chosen oneself to serve the interests of the public, it is up to the public also to question you about what you are aspire to and the mechanisms therein that you can imply to achieve the objectives that you have set forth with the rest of the team. So I'm glad being here, and I am prepared not only to answer the host, but to answer any question that will be raised by South Sudanese well over. Because I am here as a servant youth who is part of the championing team that would want South Sudan to see a new phase. And the phase is supposed to be the phase that is satisfactory to all of us. So I will not talk much. I will only wait to respond. And if there is need, elaborate. And thank you.
Thank you, Sandy John. Thank you once again for our viewers for tuning in. Here is how we can conduct the show. I and my co-host Isaac Thier will be here shortly. We will be start asking our guests Sandy John question after that. For those of you who are watching, we will open the floor by write your question to Sandy, and then we will pull it up on the screen, and then Sandy can answer you. But we cannot pin down the link to bring people on. This is a way of, this is not a debating format. This is an interview format. So for those of you who will later on ask me, oh, send me the link, no, I will not be sending the link to the people. So if you have a question, please start writing your question underneath under the comment, and then we will pull it up and Sandy can read it and answer you. And for that being said, thank you. Before I go to my first question, Sandy John, I want you to ask you a little bit. For yesterday, we see Dr. Achol Marial. He sent out the memo, the letter that he joined SPLA-IO. Can you say a little bit more about what you think about that, Dr. Achol Marial joined the IO?
You know, Comrade Madid, I may not be having any contact with Dr. Achol Marial, and like all the South Sudanese that were able to get what Dr. Achol Marial has said about what happened inside the SPLM, and of course the trajectory with which the country has moved to, you can be able to deduce that Achol Marial as a South Sudanese is at liberty, because it is granted by our constitution that you can be able to choose your political direction. I have seen Dr. Achol Marial as a prominent South Sudanese who was one of the champions of the liberation struggle for time immemorial, from the liberation days. He's a right-hand person of Dr. John Garang de Mabior, a man who is known of being all-rounded with a lot of capacities. And even at the preliminary stages of our country, he was prominently involved in the matters of the country at the parliamentary level. But eventually, he was subjected to a lot of suffering. I left Juba when Dr. Achol Marial was one of the people whom I can regard as the sufferers, the victims of bad governance after even they have liberated the country themselves. And Dr. Joel Marial has every right to decide which political party to join. And we cannot be able to direct his thoughts. And I believe what Dr. Joel Marial has done is not a betrayal to the SPLM, simply because it is the very SPLM that has been the mother party for centuries, not centuries, I'm sorry, for decades, that has actually opted to betray the cause of the people who have been the champions. So I see SPLM is the betrayer of Dr. Chol Marial and not the other way around. And also, Dr. Chol Marial has been mistreated, not from today. It started from the 2010 elections when he was graded with 0 marks at the level of what they call experimental electoral college of Lake State. And then the favorite candidate was given the right to run for the ticket of the party. And all in all, we don't blame the candidate, we blame the system, because the system is not supposed to allow the cadres to fight among themselves or compete for one position. The system was to be organized, and in case there was to be an issue of primaries that could also be acceptable, that would be the best. And this electoral college is not anywhere in the world except when it was designed in the Republic of South Africa experimentally and tested in South Sudan. And it created a lot of grievances that have led to the current disintegration of the SPLM, because cadres of value have been neglected and people have gone for cadres that are acquired eventually from the NCP, and they are the ones that took the lead in every matter. This has left Achol Marial as a grieved party, and he had to run an election that he was to win, given the fact that he has served the country and even the constituency that he represented adequately. And if everybody could be asked a question that what is it that Achol Marial has achieved in the Republic of South Sudan, we can be able to say many things, including his prominent stay in a place called Thiet, and without forgetting, during the liberation days, Yirul Hospital was not working because Arabs were occupying the town and we could not access the facilities, including the services that they were providing to themselves. Eventually, through the work of Achol Marial and the like-minded, and with endorsement from the chairman, Dr. John Garangda Mabior, may God rest his soul in peace, Achol Marial was able to establish a very good hospital that is still existing now, although it has been downgraded by the current system. That hospital is called Kuch Hospital in a place called Adior. That hospital has not only served people of that locality, it has cut across. It has served people all over the country, especially the liberated areas of those days. Dr. Achol Marial is a master of scaffold. He's a man that is capable of handling matters not only from the prism of being a medical doctor, but he's also a political scientist through on hands work. And he is also a person who has been neglected after the parliament session was ended, and he was brought to the limelight. He survived as a common citizen, and he was suffering without even consideration from his colleagues, not even to mention any services that would be rendered to him. He was not even heard. He was not given the alternatives, including meeting the president, who is the chairman of the party, at least to chair on new things that have come up. That thing has not been given. And grown-up people survive on happiness. If you have sat down with the colleagues and discussed matters, you will always be strengthened by the talks you carried out. But if you are isolated, let go, and you stay in your own house, where only you will be surrounded by young people or family members, that is not a statesmanship. You are supposed also to participate in the national matters, even from the peripheries. You should also be considered for a voice. All these have not been given to Achol Marial. And you can see his picture on a border. It is not that picture alone that is trending. From my knowledge, Achol Marial even got accident on that border, to the level of him getting injuries that through God's help he could survive them. This is a cadre that is being lost when he has contributed immensely and when nobody cared about him. I see Achol Marial is not frustrated. He is looking for a new political platform to challenge the system that he established, but that has not become successful after the independence, in the sense that it has only opted to choose the children that were raised by an opponent over the children that belongs to the SPLM. And this reminds me of the wise statement that was uttered by Baba Africa, call him General Walding Wall, that SPLM is very ashamed of its malnourished children, and that is why it's capable of only taking the healthy children that belongs to other people. Kindly, Achol Marial should be regarded as a person who has made a political decision with a paradigm shift of things that we can see in the country called South Sudan. As a matter of reality, we can only salute Achol for making a bold decision. You can't die in a queue that is not mobile, a queue that is cutting across, a queue that is admitting new members in the expense of the old ones. What is it that Achol Marial doesn't have that it takes to care for the needs of South Sudanese? He was relegated to the level of being a small state minister where he could do nothing much simply because of the limited capacities of the state, and especially when the states were polarized by the division that was created following the 32 kind or 28 states that were later on given out. Now he has gone to a platform of Riek Machar. I do not know very much about the objectives of the SPLM-IO and how different they are from the SPLM mainstream, as they say it. But I know they are both branches of the SPLM, and it now depends on the SPLM-IO and the SPLM mainstream to streamline their new strategies, because the old manifesto has become obsolete. Obsolete in the sense that the content of it is made up of the liberation strategies. Now it's no longer an issue of liberation because we have a country that we can call home. The next thing is developmental strategy, which I think is not there with the SPLM. And also a change of ideology is a necessity as of now, given the texture of the country and the societies that are involved in it. We can be able to say nobody among us, the oppositions, can speak much about the SPLM because it will be on a negative, because all of us have disregarded the policies of the SPLM in the sense that they are unproductive, they are not bringing results. Now I can hear people even composing songs without a mention of people like Achol Marial, and they're saying they have liberated the country with people like Turka or Galwak. They have liberated the country with people that I don't have to mention all, including the very Ilya Lomoro who was throwing rotten eggs at John Garang in the United Kingdom. I am not after individuals, but I am after the loss of the SPLM, and is accommodating the likes of Tor Mayuen, Tor Deng Mayuen, call him so, who have never had what the SPLM was aspiring for. Now they have driven the president, who is the chairman of the party, to a direction that he cannot even listen to the members of the party. And political veru and all the other instruments, such as the Liberation Council and above all the convention, are defunct, in the sense that even if they generate idea, it does not go through. And they have been reduced to psychopathic life, where they will only sing the same songs that are being sung by Bilpa McCage in their own capacities to win bread. That is not a country we have been aspiring to. All of us were SPLM. We went to the bush, all of us. We went to the liberation cause with a mindset that we need a country, simply because we were deprived by Arabs of 1, 2, 3 things that all South Sudanese know. And we fought alongside each other with help of our friends in the region and beyond. And then we achieved the country. And now the system collapsed, in that the leadership itself allow the infiltrators to take charge of everything, and they opted to marginalize the founders who were supposed to spearhead the agenda of the SPLM or develop a new one, since they had the capacity to develop functioning agenda that led to the liberty of South Sudanese. I do not think also if they were given the opportunity by the opportunists, they could as well develop the strategies that could have helped the country. The whole thing is the leadership of the SPLM is in chamble. I can call it that way simply because the cadres that are in the SPLM have very good ideas, but they are not put into practice. And so let us not insult the text. The text would be right, but how implementable is the text from the top echelon? This is what we refer to as the failure of the SPLM. And
Thank
if
you.
SPLM has failed, people can move out of that. And for that reason, I can only say congratulations, Dr. Rachel Marial. And I wish he could have come to my party. I would be very glad. But there
Thank
is
you.
nothing I can do.
Thank you for answering that question. As you talk about the party, your party, so let us switch back to your party. As you know, I think a few weeks ago, we had you here in Let's Say Media for the first time when you and General Mulungawan fall out. So for that time until now, can you tell us what happened? So what happened to South Sudan United Front?
Thank you very much. As I am speaking, I am the interim chairman of the South Sudan United Front, stroke army. After the National Executive Council Committee made the decision to endorse me unanimously after the expulsion of General Malung that was rendering the organization defunct, even when the name is being called out, simply because of rejection of the policies, lack of progressiveness, disintegration of the point of on the point of which direction to take, because the organization became part of Soma under my watch, and I was part of the team that developed the declaration of principles and terms of reference that became the working primary documents that are the documents that are basically for the Soma pending the development of the charter. And eventually, after the after our disintegration at the level of the SAP, I only wish General Malong well. I was interested even to give him advisory role had he been calm enough to accept what I'm telling him, because we are injecting a new blood of youth into the system of South Sudan so that the change we want can come. The change is like rest. It doesn't come and tell you that I have come. It has to come on a gradual basis, and youth have the right to take the stage. Given the fact that the youth have endorsed me to be their interim chair, I took the party to the path of progress. And the path of progress is we do not subscribe to any direction that is involving going to Juba, as Malung is interested in, with all those that are around him, to the direction that is progressively fighting for the rights of South Sudanese, and particularly the Soma Alternative Forum. So I can say I am the interim chair. I am not in competition with anyone, and South Sudanese are at liberty to run the parties that they think are going to create change. And so, questioning that what happened to Soma, to SAP at this level, it is like this. SAP has become progressive. There is an expansion in the leadership structure, and the policies, including the constitution, are being reviewed so that they can be brought to the limelight in the interest of the public. And mostly youth are the ones that SAP has been telling that you should come at the fore, show your face, demand your rights. If you keep silent long enough, you will not be heard. And the oppressor will assume that your silence is admittance of everything that they are doing to be right for you. And that is the reason why we are going to focus on policies. And without denigrating individuals, we are interested in shaping the opinion of the people of South Sudan so that they can be directed to what we refer to as the right reasons for South Sudan to stand firm. The right reasons are we need to redocument all the laws that make up what we call our constitution, including the acts and the bills, so that they can flow. Flowing of the laws will give citizens the right to even choose their leadership, will give citizens the right to ask for services, will give citizens the right to question the authority that is derailing them, give citizens the right to champion for everything that we call prosperity. That is in quotes because it's a big thing. If we are to go in details, we will take forever explaining what strategies are needed, plus the policies that will bring this, including the meltdown of the economy that we are in now. This is what my current leadership will champion for until such time that we restructure ourselves. The laws of SAP and all the policy documents are being reviewed, and the public will be served with the right strategies so that they can be able to see how we can be able to pursue the question of constitutionalism, how we can be able to see the ideology of the governance that they have opted for, how we can be able to pursue the grievances that have afflicted some societies, because now it is no longer an issue of the government failing alone to govern people. It is even setting societies against one another. This needs a definition, and the definition will come from a smaller context and a wider context. And therefore, this is the message of the chairman of SAP is clear, that we have to be progressive. And progressiveness is what will bring the required change by South Sudanese. If we don't think progressively and remain retrogressive, we will be able to degenerate into a society that is capable of destroying itself. Although it has started, we have to stop it. It should not continue. South Sudanese must be told that the ideology, that nationhood is the basis of good life, should be embraced, and they have to learn about this. I don't challenge the South Sudanese to be less learners. They are learned, but nobody is giving them the direction. They need to be told that hating a brother is not progress. It is actually stagnation. Because by the time you catch a brother, he is as strong as you. You will only remain stagnated in one position without moving to the next stage. And the country will wither away. Even the people that we call our enemies of yesterday would also be able to sneak from behind and take away that country from us. Let us allow each other to be very free. And this is by breaking the cocoons of tribes. I do not have a problem with the tribe, but I have a problem, as I reiterated, with the tribalism. That cocoon must be broken. Let us not see them as that tribe. Let us see them as those South Sudanese. What is their idea? If their idea is good, we say, good guys, the idea is selling. It is wonderful. We accept this. We need change. We need to progress. That is at a minimum. That is what I can say. And on the question of my interim chairmanship, I think I have talked long. So it is not an issue. Again, I am on course with the team trying to create a way out of stagnation where we were put in by General Malone for nearly 2-3 years of no progress as he sits over everything. So we need to move on and keep the engine in ignition so that it can be able to propel us far away from the mess we are in and into a stage that is good for South Sudanese.
So, Sunday, a couple of weeks ago, we have a spokesperson of General Malone here on our show. So, can you, because now there are two, now you are claiming that you are a chairperson of SAF, of South Sudan United Front. And General Malone is a chairman to that, and he have his own spokesperson in his team. Can you tell the South Sudanese that what is lead you and General Malone to break up?
I think I have made a number of explanations. Mm-hmm. One, inside SAP, I have differed with General Malong on a number of things, including his position in the current ongoing feast in Rome. He has doubts in the international established podium that he will not achieve on timely basis what he wants from Juba, and had to take the shortcuts, which I was against. More so, we don't implement our policies. We only stay with our leader, making us sit around him while he play cards. I have mentioned it before. I differ with him on that. And so General Malung opted now to see me as an obstacle, although I am trying to put him on the radars that belongs to the international, community and the world at large as a leader with focus. But he opted to reject the focus, including attending the mere meetings of SOMA. SOMA has a plan and is in place that it meets on weekly basis. Every Saturday, a meeting is conducted. But he was advised by one of his men that he was too big to attend SOMA meetings. So let him, the advisor, be the one attending the meetings. And the person in question here is one Lual Dao. Now Lual Dao took the central stage talking on behalf of General Malung in the SOMA leadership. Just because he is saying Malung is too big, that he is not equal to Pagana Mom, is not equal to General Thomas Cirillo, is not equal to Emmanuel Ajawin, is not equal to Uncle David Basioni, is not equal to Comrade Bakindi Umbu, is not equal to Comrade Kwaje, is not equal to Sunday De John, so it should not be in that forum. It should stay somewhere and make laws that are not existing anywhere for SOMA. Now Malung lost direction in that. And for that matter, we have seen as young people in SAP that we will never progress. We will only be stagnated in his compound in Nyari, sitting around him for years and years and years, and we will not have impact on South Sudan. And that is not the reason why we had to abandon our professions and call ourselves liberators that are going to be part of the struggle, regardless whether we will be alive or dead. And so we opted out. And if Malung is interested in continuing with SAP, the stagnated branch in his compound, nobody has a say about it. He is at liberty, and that is granted by the interim constitution of South Sudan. And even the constitution that we aspire to make will grant the liberty to all South Sudanese, so that you can be able to decide what you can do to your country. So the statements that were uttered by that person that is becoming a spokesperson of Malung the other day are only out of mere ignorance, simply because he does not even know the basic laws of SAP. He does not even know the ideology of SAP. We developed the ideology of SAP as a team, big team of people with wisdom, including Ustaz Luis Anay Madud Quindit, before he left. And SAP ideology was what we call social democracy that is grounded on Pan-Africanism. And this thing, none of the two, whether Malung or his spokesman, is aware of it. So how do we become progressive if the leader does not know about our ideology? If he does not know about our founding documents? If he does not know, the other day he has accused Kir of corruption, and he is practicing it even at a minor stage, whereby he will even imply nepotism. That is administrative corruption, plus. I have not come here to accuse Malong, but I will always be on the stage to respond if he is trying to maim me. So after I have laid out all the things that are not going right, Malung opted now to say this boy must be kicked out. And on advice of his kitchen cabinet, he ended up trying to find one way and the other, but they were not successful. And we had to sit more than 3 times on this, and I defeated him before a lawyer who has won a case against Kir recently, in the person of Molana Maleng Matiang, on behalf of the judges of South Sudan who were dismissed unconstitutionally. I won also my case against Malung and his boys in front of that judge. And because Malung does not accept the defeat, even at the micro level, he opted to tell me that he was going to accuse me. And the accusation he later on levied against me was I sent the ranks of the soldiers that were to be announced in the media the following day to the government. I have the strategies of SAP, including the military strategy, which Malung does not even know. And I have never sent it to anywhere. How will I be able to send a list of people, the name in full? So and so, Madid Abraham, Madid Tieng Paul, Sunday de John, and this, then send it to help the government achieve what? These are just made up stories and they are backfiring. They will hone Malung because you don't incriminate your people, your subordinates that are extremely loyal, that sell your name day and night, even when you have smeared yourself of all the blood of South Sudanese. This is a fact.
So what do you say? What do you say to those people saying that, okay, Sunday John, the reason why Sunday John go and form is the party said that he's the acting chairman of South Sudan United Front is because Jordan Malong fired him. That's the reason why he get mad. What do you want to say about that? Is it because you will get fired from for the position? That's why you go and create your own as a chairman of South Sudan United Front?
That is contrary. It is not true like that. In the first place, after we differed with Malong, I made a retreat. And through my retreat, I thought Malong will regret his wrong decisions and then call for a conference that will involve everybody so that a solution to the lack of progress is made. But Malong instead opted to act dubiously. So to the contrary, I dismissed Malong before he could dismiss me. And he had no authority again after dismissing him through the authorization of the council so that he can no longer be our chairman. Even the thing that is called dismissal of Sunday is just a ghost action. So it happened when the person was no longer in power.
How can you dismiss General Malong? Malong is a founder of South Sudan United Front, because last when we had a show with the spokesperson, his spokesperson said that during when South Sudan United Front was founded in 2018, you were the junior officer. Is that true? Are you a junior officer at the time?
Look here. Malong is a co-founder of SAP. I don't erase that.
Okay.
And he has no right to remove me there also. For this SAP to be heard to your ears and to everybody's ears, is me who announced it. The founding document is me who read it out to the world. Where does he take me? Look here, all people don't become leaders in one day. You can be a leader at a different stage. We opted as SAP members to give Malong the leadership, even without elections. It is us who gave him the leadership. He is not the one who gave it to himself. And his spokesman just came the other day, simply because he's looking for a status to go to the United States of America. He's a small boy who does not know anything about politics. An intern in South Sudan TV cannot debate with us under which pretext? If he has gone to school, is this Nairobi Aviation College, just downtown Nairobi here? I do not have to debate with him, simply because whether it is politics, he joined it the other day. Whether it is that media, by the time we were working for South Sudan TV, that has become the SSBC, with the late Edward Ladu Terso, he was not even a complete student of secondary school. What is he going to tell me today? Whether it is the media work or the political work or any other specialty, that person is fumbling. He is trying only to masquerade as somebody who is interested in creating lies, and you don't suffice with lies. And I am also not interested in competing with the boys who prize themselves so high. This is the boy the other day who was saying PLO of Kenya is less educated than him, when he has gone to Nairobi Aviation College and PLO is in charge of the law school of Kenya, where whether you graduate from University of Nairobi, from whichever university, or even in Abbott, you have to go through that system that PLO is in charge of. And this is the person he can call less educated than him. Now, if you hear people that talk like that, you can make your inference. And as a doctor, I can only say I don't need to debate with them. Perhaps they have a mental matter, which I do not want to discuss because it is my right to keep the privacy of anybody. So in this aspect, I do not have to trade words with him. I announce up. Malung did not. Okay? If I am the one who announced up to the well, where do you put me now in your own judgment as the person who is making this interview progress? And this announcement did not just come. You sit down and write what you will announce.
So
what is it that document that Malung has written?
What is saying that you are now because you are a spokesperson of SEF?
There was no structure. I was a co-founder like the rest. And I can be able to articulate issues. I have to stand on the stage to tell the world that there exists an organization and its name is SAP. And these are its objectives and it will pursue this cause no matter the length of time. But the leadership ended up trying to destroy the rest by sending them away. And that is the basis of our colleagues having gone. Had it been vibrant leadership, none would have gone away and SAP would have been the biggest entity that can challenge the leadership of South Sudan as of now, as an entity with progressive ideologies. I mean, ideology with ideas and all policies and plans in action. So this thing that the boy was saying is just a kind of humbling mentality. If you see people that are jaded and they want to help themselves, that is the behavior they do. And you know very well, it has been mentioned that the drowning man clutches at the straw. You know the straw that people use to drink, maybe drinks with it. If you see it floating and you are drowning, you can be able to say you will catch it. And it's quite light, it cannot hold you. This is what they are trying to do. And so they can name call, they can do anything. I'm not worried about that because nobody will make me what he wants without me permitting him to do it. That is the bottom line. As a matter of fact, the spokespersons of Malung, whether it be it Nyamach or Cholduang, they are recent comers. Nyamach is a bit senior to Chol, and through me, it's me who mobilized Nyamach from Juba to here. What is it that she knows about SAP? And she's moving down and up. And today they are up trying to trade insults with me. They should be one. We don't need to insult each other. Let them sell ideas to the public, just like I am doing. I want South Sudanese to know that SAP is progressive, and it will be progressive, and it will be at the bigger stage with the rest of South Sudanese, because it is not going to betray any cause that has been initiated by Madid or by anybody in the Republic of South Sudan. I will only be working in team with people to achieve the goals that would make South Sudan a great nation. This is what we aspire to. And that is the objective number one. We want South Sudan to get united under one umbrella. And we should not discriminate whether you are from minority or from majority. Nobody has created the other. We all exist as South Sudanese and we have to respect that.
Thank you. Last week, a couple of weeks ago, you were here on our show. One of my colleagues asked you a question that, can you tell us the members of South Sudan United Front that joined you? And you told her that, quote, I will go and, for the next Monday, which is last week, you will tell us. So the number of the people who are the members of yourself. Do you have that? Do you? National
Executive Committee of SAP is made up of 16 people. Mm-hmm. Out of 16 people, the ones that are remaining with Malung are Nyamach. The ones that are remaining with Malung are Lualedao and himself. The rest are not with him. They give him accompaniment in terms of sitting around, but they are waiting for a progressive move. Already with me are 9. Out of 16 minus 9, what remains back? Huh? Malung is only promoting now people in diaspora, and he has to call those people that make video shows to accompany him to Rome on self-invitation. So you are telling me that the rest of the staff board, they go with you. That is what I refer to as National Executive Committee that made a decision to sack Malung and put me in place as interim chair until such time when laws would be reviewed and new leadership structure.
So do you have any deputy? Can you tell us more about them? Do you know the name or so? You mentioned 16. Do you have a deputy or just only you?
I have a deputy. My deputy is called Kawai Babwath. Yes.
So you were
Kawai
the member.
Babwath Road is my deputy, a
Okay.
senior member of SAP.
Hmm.
I also have a number of secretaries, including a spokesperson. Currently, Fidel Deng is my Secretary of Information and the Communications Technology. I also have a Political Affairs Secretary. I have a Senior Secretary, the ones you call Secretary General. I have a Foreign Affairs Secretary. I have the Charge Affairs for Youth. I have a number of representatives in the foreign missions for SAF. What is it that are people telling me? If you pick a lady from that corner of the world, the other one from that corner of the world, that does not amount to SAP. SAP is not supposed to be something that is made up of people that are interested in praising somebody and somebody who is interested in being praised. SAP is an ideology. I don't care. My deputy comes from the side of Unity State. Some of the secretaries come from Greater Akobo. Some are deeply from Central Equatoria, Western Equatoria, Eastern Equatoria. Others come as far as Wow, and I do not have discrimination. They are South Sudanese. This is the South Sudan in diversity, and this is what makes us a colorful nation. We are supposed to move like that. I have a cabinet bigger than that one of Malong, and that is progressive than that one of Malong in terms of ideas, thought processes, because I don't sit on their thoughts. They think I give them the platform to share, we adopt it, and it's subject to implementation. So we do not have anything to do like, this is so big, this one is so small, so we should not listen. We can listen to everybody, including those outside SAP, simply because they are South Sudanese, and SAP is a forum for their voices. So there is no problem with that.
So now the South Sudan is in peace. So they are doing peace right now. And Soma and the government are in peace. And South Sudan United Front is a part of Soma. And before I go to that question about Soma, can you, as you and General Malong team, because you are still the member, you both are claiming to be members of South Sudan United Front, can you guys reconcile among each other?
This is not a question I can answer. I have called for it, including on the platforms. General Malong has rejected the reconciliation. He refused even to allow people to sit down to talk on fears that he will be defeated. If a man has conditioned himself, made a mindset, create conclusions, you do not have to persuade him to sit down with you, because he has locked his mind, threw away the keys, and you cannot open that. What do you do with a person like that? You progress. You should not be conditioned by their behavior. You are supposed to do what is good for you. So I am out here to proceed with the plans of SAP with all South Sudanese. And if General Malong has changed his mind and he wants people to sit down, there is no problem. We can be able to absorb his SAP and make him our advisor. He has experience in the military aspect. What is wrong with that? It should not be him always on the stage, conditioning people with no ideas but cards. So he should come on the stage so that he can be given the responsibility that he should run after and that he should help people of South Sudan with. This idea that he was fighting here and there, all of us have sustained bullets in the fight for South Sudan. You don't need to be shot 100 times to die. Even once is enough.
Okay, thank you. So as you are acting commander-in-chief of South Sudan United Front Army, couple of days ago or last week, I saw one of the articles from South Sudan TV that 9 generals of South Sudan United Front and 500 soldiers, they joined the government. So as you acting, what do you want to say about that? Is it true that your members, your forces joined the government?
I can confirm that one as true. And it's one of the reasons why I am a victim today. You know, last year in 2019, we were approached by a team headed by somebody called Dixon Galwak. He came with 3 generals. One of the generals is called Ter Majak. The other general is called Nial Tut. And the other general is Kawai Babot, the current deputy of SAP that I am leading. These sat down with us, they had a party. And General Malung authorized us as a team to liaise with them so that we can be able to reach an agreement, because they are South Sudanese like us, and working together is no longer a bad thing. It becomes a norm, because South Sudanese have to work together. That would give them the maximum capacity to challenge any monster that is obstructing them from progress. In this line, I was instrumental in ensuring that we form a major agreement. I have the documents. If Lake State would want to see a copy, there is no problem. We made an agreement with these vibrant officers, formerly of the SPLM, I mean SPLA, but who have, for one reason or another, deserted and fought against the SPLM vigorously on the ticket of General Riek Machar, or chairman of the SPLM-IO. But later on, when they felt there were grievances that they were facing inside the SPLM, they opted to break away. And they chose at first to team up with the SAP, which I did brilliantly. And after signing the memorandum of understanding, there were certain things that they put as conditions that should be fulfilled. They needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things as per the agreement. And I was fully authorized by the chairman to fulfill this. We did it. But 2 days after the signing of this, Makwach was telling me that these Nuer are too many and they are too senior. Why would they be allowed to be part of SAP? And I told him the aspiration of SAP is to change South Sudan. It is not an issue of seniority or being junior. So Makwach opted to work against them. And later on, he managed even to convince their leader in the person of Dixon Galwak to team up with him in the destruction of the forces that he himself mobilized over a very long period of time with a lot of commitment. This gentleman called Galwak has committed himself to mobilize these troops under somebody called Gadbel and Nyal Tut, and then later on joined by Malit. These people team up and they were working for us. They even fought many times with the government of South Sudan on behalf of SAP. I have written to the international community on behalf of the leadership of SAP on this violation of COHA. But eventually they were framed the same way I am being framed. Few months before my case was raised, they were the victims. Every time, chairman does not want to communicate to them. Yet that is the force that is only standing, no any force anywhere. And he doesn't want to communicate with them. Instead, he put Makwach, who is there as an enemy within. If you make a force today, Makwach will tell the government to find ways to destroy it. And then Makwach work together now with the leader of the said group to destroy the force. And those guys were only vulnerable. They do not have ammunition. They have nothing to eat. They don't have the direction. They don't have anything like communication, mere communication. Hello, commander, how did you sleep today? It's not there. When we talk, we are accused of siding with the army that is not obedient. What obedience do you want from the army? If you don't give it the army what to eat, if you don't give them ammunition, if you like force them, attack this place, they attack, they don't have ammunition. Do you think ammunition can be found on the soil? It is the duty and responsibility of the leader. Just like Jorgarang was doing. We were ready on the parade, waiting with our guns to be only filled with ammunition and attack as he directs. That was what was happening. But for the case of Malung, it was not happening. These people were annoyed and they communicated. Nobody was listening to them. And they were being faced from right to left by the enemies. And so they could not surrender. They only opted to negotiate peace. This is a point of retreat. And they ended up being part of the team that was negotiating with Nguyen Moin Twil in the territories. And even before they could do that, the announcement was made by the very leader that brought them that they have been stopped from communicating with us through a press statement released even by another press person, where everybody the next morning would be called a pressman. Now, people are fighting me over leadership of SAP because it is going to the right direction. Just the way they were fighting me because I was the spokesman. It is me that makes it vibrant, not the position itself. Now the positions are redundant. including the position of the chairman. Here it is vibrant, and people are saying, no, he's not you, he's chairman here and there. This is what they have done. So those forces left not because they have done anything bad or they have made a bad plan against SAP, but there was no salvage. The leadership has allowed them to go to the government simply because Malung does not want many people. He wants a secretary and another secretary based on the agreement that he is having with Juba, so that he can go and either replace Taban Dengai or Aya called Abdel Baghi. These are the things he's working for, and he doesn't look for a major cause of South Sudanese. Just those small things.
Thank you. Let's switch to Soma. So one of my colleague co-hosts, Peter Ken, is asking the question. I put it up. Before you answer his question, I have the first question come with that question. So last week, on Friday, Soma and the government, they met in Rome to discuss the peace between Soma and the government. So you didn't go to that peace negotiation. So why you didn't attend the peace negotiation in Rome between Soma and government?
Very good question. Mm-hmm. I did not attend the peace process in Rome, not because I am not a chairman of SAP, mm-hmm. but because I am a good citizen. Good citizens obey, including basic laws. Soma, before the resumption of Rome talks, has suspended SAP, whether the SAP I'm leading or the ones that is being led by Malong, was suspended on a number of grounds, including the breach of the channels of communication, where Soma as a liaison officer in the person of Kwajelasu, but Malong will communicate to the mediators independently, would even reject the agreed position of Soma and make himself a communicator independent of Soma. Plus many things that you will hear later on if the case is settled, that led to the suspension of Soma. I mean SAP in Soma. When SAP was suspended in Soma, the negotiation came up. I trust Soma. There is nothing the other remaining parties cannot do for the good of South Sudan. I opted to remain by not running to Rome because Soma has said the suspended party and the parties that have not signed the charter have to wait until such time that when the resolution will be made. And so I have to wait for the resolution. The peace process is not running away. It is going to be followed systematically under the guidance of international community until we achieve the sustainable peace that we want. And I do not care who among the Soma parties will achieve this for us. I care that it will be achieved. And so I remain behind because Soma has prevented me from traveling until such time that when case of SAP has been resolved. But Malung think he is the best politician of South Sudan. He had to invite himself alone to the Soma meeting. And therefore, in Rome, Soma opted to say, no, you cannot participate because you have an identity that is not acceptable now. You have been suspended. And we need to follow this up through the procedures. So sit back. He didn't want, simply because he has already agreed with the government on his part. And so he won a redemption. He won a center where he can make himself clean and move to Juba in the disadvantage of Soma. But Soma, I do not know, they were acting wisely. They stopped Malung from participating. Real SPLM has no case. The case is they want Malung to be there by force because of the SPLM colleaguehood or whatever, I don't know. I cannot explain. But they were told, you should not argue when we are signing the charter. Let us sign the charter so that we talk about the issues when we are legally members of Soma. But Real SPLM decided to say no. They cannot sign the charter unless you bring Malung in. And they were told, okay, you can now team up with Malung. Wait, but we don't have a case that much against you. That is what happened. Malung went to Rome. You see him sitting with Nyal Deng, but there was nothing progressive. Up to today, they have not made any single statement, simply because they came back with frustration, with him taxing people here and there that he would want to make a statement and all, when he doesn't have a platform. So I cannot invite myself to the forum of Soma when the case of which SAP has been accused has not been settled. That is called lack of respect of rules. I respect the rules of Soma. I abide by its chapter and all the basic rules, including the terms of reference and the declaration of principle, because I have read them adequately and I know the content is good for South Sudanese. So I should wait. Soma will settle my case, and I do not have problem. And when somebody asks about my relationship with of NewSAP with the Soma, I can say Soma is not harboring any hostility against any party. It is instead cooperating with all parties. And therefore, I will wait patiently until such time that when Soma make a decision over my fate as member of Soma, which I aspire to. Being suspended does not mean loss of membership.
Okay. So now you will be waiting. So let's come to the next question. One of my colleagues, Peter, can ask you, what is your relationship of your new self with Soma?
I told you now that Soma has no hostility against any party.
Okay.
So the relationship between Soma and my new SAP is cordial.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So thank you for answering that question. So now, one of the person asking you, because right now I'm going to move. I'm still not going to go to that because as you see, Soma. So Soma, okay. Yeah, you have answered that, yeah. So, okay. Okay, so now, like I received the letter here, what the Soma and the government was talking about, and you were not, so now you are not a part of Soma yet. So one of the person asking you.
I am part of Soma on suspension.
Okay.
So I can answer a question of Soma.
So do you know when Soma restating you to be a member again of Soma?
I on suspension, a case will be heard and a decision will be made. That is not a loss of membership. So I do not have problem answering on what aspire in Soma or what is outside it. So I am a South Sudanese, and what Soma subscribe to is what I subscribe to. The agenda of Soma, I am part of it. I like it. This is the agenda I want to pursue. We want liberty for South Sudanese.
Okay, so one of the guests asking you, is Abdel Makir. He asking when Self and Soma sign the final peace in Rome with the government of South Sudan. So I don't know what that question means. So that's what he asked about that. Can you answer?
He's asking for the timeline.
Okay.
As to when will these parties together arrive at a peace that is conclusive for the good of South Sudan? The answer is very simple. Peace process is a process that needs to be followed on a gradual basis, with items and the other item being discussed one after the other. Just like the comprehensive peace agreement, it is not something that people rush to. It is something that people come to the agreement through consensus and understanding and mutual trust. This has brought international community from all corners of the world, and their eyes are there. The whole thing is they want to achieve this through the systematic approach that can be done. So I cannot exactly tell the exact date or time it will be finalized because it has just restarted. It was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And so this made it to stay without being progressive from March this year to the resumption just in October. So I can rightly say that if all the root causes have been adequately addressed and to the right conclusion, then the Soma, SAP is not outside Soma, it's part of Soma, will reach the conclusion and they will sign the peace agreement eventually. And this is an issue that is not subject to a pin down time frame because it is progressive. Time will be progressing like that. And a topic will be discussed on the root causes like that until when it is achieved, then the next one like that. So there are about 7 protocols that have already been put in place and that SOMA is aspiring to address together with the government of South Sudan in good spirit.
Yes, this is the document of releasing the talk between government and SOMA that released on the October 12th. On this document, they will say the blueprint, blueprint, expanding discussion. They expanding the discussion, maintaining upon the next round talk that will take place in November 30th. So the November 30th, which is next month, 30th. So will you be able to attend that round talk with government? If SOMA allowed you to join the talk?
I can say yes and no, 2 answers at the same time.
Okay,
and
why
yes,
no?
If you ask me why yes and no, is that SOMA has suspended SAP on the issues that will be addressed through the channels of SOMA. The timeline for addressing this has not been communicated. And if it ends, if it finished, because I know it's not a severe matter, if it finished before the deadline that has been mentioned in the release, then I will participate. I am part of team. I'm a team player. I don't antagonize the team. I don't have a deal with Juba, just like my counterpart Gerald Malong did. So this would give me the platform to participate after the resolution of the matter. I don't know. Are you hearing me? I'm not hearing you.
Yes, I hear you. Somebody called me on I mute myself. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I say yes if the solution is reached before November 30th. I say no if the solution is not reached before November 30th. And in all situations, I am not fetulant because I trust the SOMA members will do what I can be able to participate in doing with them together. So issue of attending peace talk is not a big matter. It is an issue of a delegation. I have delegated authority to those people already because they have my endorsement as they go to Rome, even when I remain behind, because I know what they go for is what we have started together. And I know the terms of reference and I know the goodness of it. So I am not against it. I like it. Even without me, let it progress.
Okay, thank you. There's a question, Amira, I'll ask you, that does that mean Malong is still a party to SOMA, according to what you say? So has that answered that what that Amira is asking you? And my next question,
Amir Ibn Sultan, your question is very straightforward. I can say by the virtue of that Malong was part of SOMA, suspension is not equal to dismissal. So there is no any announcement made on dismissal of Malong as that matter. But because Malong is very petulant, he is committing more mistakes, and they may end up implicating him. If you are told by the organization that until your fate is determined, remain behind, you go alone before them even and claim to be something else, that is something different. So I do not know what decision would be made by SOMA, and I cannot confirm or reject the membership of Malong.
Thank you. Yeah, for those of you who are watching, please start sending in your question and I will play on the screen. My next question, which is, there's a question one of the guys, Big say, but I will pull it up. But my next question that I'm asking you is, do you think you can resist all the suspension that General Paul Malong will be making against you? Let me restate it again. Did you understand the question? Well,
yes.
Do you think?
I got your point.
Okay.
That Malong has made decisions on you.
So, yes.
Will you resist them or abide by them?
Yes.
Here, I do not subscribe to Malong. We are independent entities. I don't even care to know about what Malong is doing, as I do what I do. If Malong cares about what I'm doing, it's none of my business. So there is no way you can say United States of America will abide by the Russian law, or Russia will abide by the United States of America law. They are independent entities capable of running their affairs independently, and of course moving to the directions that they think can determine the success of their countries. So Malong has been dismissed. I remain with SAP, and if he persists with the group that he is with, the Cholduangs and Nyamats, is okay. I don't have problem. It's not my right to deny South Sudanese platforms. It is up to them. But I have a platform that I am championing the rights of South Sudanese through it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I can answer that question from. Did you read that question that is coming from the guest? He was asking who will be going to lead SOAP in the peace declaration in Rome. Is you or Malong?
If the solution has been provided by SOMA, of course I am the interim chair of SAP. If there was peace to be achieved, I would be there as part of it. I do not recognize Malong. I don't know him, whether he is the chairman, because a dismissed man does not equate to a leader again. It is just like you are telling us to accept that former president of Uganda comes back and lead when Museveni is there. That is a mockery.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next question is coming from Madingo. He was asking how are you different from General Malong based on goals and objectives?
I am different from General Malong in that Malong does not even know what goals and objectives he is pursuing. But I know the goals of SAP and its objectives. If I am lying, ask Malong to come to this forum tomorrow so that he can tell you objective of SAP. But the objectives of SAP through its manifesto have been summarized into 7. Number 1, we are establishing a country that is not wrecked by tribalism. That is the spirit of nationhood. And if we are a nation that is not undivided, then we can be able to prosper, because we will achieve educational goal, we will be achieving economical goal, we will be achieving the infrastructural goal, we will be able to achieve a number of goals, including establishing a military that is unchallenged in the region or beyond. So this is the South Sudan we want, a South Sudan where I do not stand up just like Malong would do and say, so and so come from the minority. How come they would be leaders? But during those days when South Sudan was one, listen, the leader of South Sudanese was Joseph Lagu Yanga. And do you know Joseph Lagu Yanga comes from which community? He comes from Madi community of Numili. He was a statesman. His ideas were progressive. He has the vibrancy, the nationalism, a country at heart. So he was selected to lead everyone. Yet he comes from a small community. We don't discriminate communities. It is the projection of the leader that we take. We can have leader from anywhere, but that is not acceptable to the old schools, people like General Malong. Even inside Soma, why he had problem is that he has been telling me and the rest that we must overcome the idea of leadership, and he wants to become the leader of Soma, even if he is not managing SAP well. This is an issue of management. You have talked about the soldiers that have left. Why did they leave? Simply because General Malong does not know how to manage people. Leave alone the idea of the SPLA days. John Garang was in charge of everything. It is an issue of you saying go to war or not. This is the command aspect. So this divisive mindset is what I told Malong face to face. And I told him, you are divisive. You can even classify Dinka, and you are putting me as Dinka Yerul, and you are putting the rest as Dinka Will. So you favor them against me. What will you do to the rest of South Sudanese if you behave in such a way? He doesn't want to be faced. He has been with people that worship him. I cannot worship anybody. I can worship the Almighty God.
Yeah,
so
now
Malong, Malong was
please.
only trying to be divisive in Soma. He say, ideology that is being pursued by Thomas Cirillo is mainly barrier. Yet Thomas Cirillo has participated in the liberation struggle, who was capturing the lives of Ahmad Kureb and beyond for the good of South Sudan. Thomas Cirillo was a liberator like himself, but he doesn't want him to be somebody. Pagana Mo, who was senior to Malung throughout their entire life, he called him a minority man. He comes from Chuluk. What will he offer in South Sudan? The same thing with Gerald Weah. The same thing with Emmanuel Aban. He's a boy. People like Sande are just boys. He doesn't know we are superior intellectuals in our own right that are helping him. What is he that that Malung can offer that I cannot offer?
Okay. Have you seen Sunday? Like Soma. Soma was created around General Malung, around General Pagana Mom, around General Weah Dengajak. That's what the Soma made around them, these three. Because these three, hang on, you will come. These three are well-known generals during our movement, during our struggle time. And they are in, when the South Sudan become independent, got their own country, they were in the government. But now they fall out with the government, with the President Salva Kiir government, and they form their own party, and they make that allies with Soma. As Soma is an umbrella. So when Soma went to Rome, so, and they suspended General Malong. General Pagan, he disagreed with Soma because he's one of the person didn't sign the document that General Malong will be suspended. He disagreed with the rest of Soma. He didn't sign the document. So when the Soma, when some rest of the Soma leaders went to Rome to meet with the government official, General Pagan didn't show up. General Weah was there for some reason. He doesn't. If he disagree with the rest of Soma or not, I don't know. But if these three generals who are the one founded, who are the co-founder of Soma, they are out of Soma, and you and the rest of leaders of Soma, like General Cirillo now, Thomas Cirillo now is a leader. He's an acting leader now of Soma, right? So what you guys can do, because these three generals who are well known are out of Soma, will you guys make a successfully peace agreement between Soma and the government without General Malong, without General Pagana Mom, without General Weah Dengajak?
Look here, that is a distortion of facts.
Mm-hmm.
When Soma was established, the former speakers here, Cholo Duang, or whoever has come to address people here, does not even know the genesis of Soma.
Mm-hmm.
Soma was not established around anyone. It was established as a result of pulling together in a process called synergy. Synergy means you have a power, I have power. We put our powers together, they create a maximum outcome. This is the idea that came with people. This idea that came with people, from the day it was birthed, we were together in one place. It was not General Weah, General Malong, or General Cirillo. It was South Sudanese oppositions that came together. And the parties that sat in a hotel called Marriott, just a walking distance away from Nelson Mandela statue, and the International Criminal ICC, the International Criminal Court, just at the proximity of walking distances. We sat there at Marriott Hotel, deliberated on a number of days, and the parties that were available are: 1, National Salvation Front; 2, South Sudan United Front; 3, SSNMC; 4, UDRM /A; 5, SAP; 6 real SPLM. These are the parties that sat together, and we have put in place what we call terms of reference and the memorandum of understanding. If somebody is saying today that it was General Malong, it was Pagan, it was Thomas, it was Gerald Weah, no, it was South Sudanese. This idea of recycling the politicians that have even made worse crimes in the country is not going to be a mindset that would make us progress. First of all, we were there. Malong did not go. You know why? I was there as a leader, not as a messenger of Malong. I deliberated with the rest of the leaders, and we achieved the consensus that the 6 parties will work together. Why do you want to attribute it to a specific people? What is the value of those other South Sudanese? If you believe in Lake State media that you are valueless than those generals, we don't believe in that in Soma. South Sudanese are equal, and there is no party that is smaller than the other party, because there is no yardstick that is available that people can use to say this party is bigger than this party and this party is smaller than this party. If Malunga has only 6 people, why would he discriminate against another party like mine that has more than the number of the people he has in his party? But Malung will not accept because he has not counted my men. And I will not accept because I have not counted his men. Although I hold the registry of all the men that belongs to SAP, whether with Malung or with me. This is the reality. These parties are not 3. They are not General Weah, they are not General Malung, they are not General Thomas. They are parties of South Sudanese. These people have only been given stewardship, and they can from time to time be changed depending on the party policies. So do not try to put that one as a valid entity. The parties in Soma are 6. Currently, there are 4, with one suspending itself alone, and the other one suspended on crimes of being dubious. And this is the fact that you should take home. You cannot be excused that you are big when you are working against the system. Nobody is bigger than the law. If Malung assumes to be bigger than the law of Soma, then he deserves being even dismissed, not suspended, simply because he is making deals outside Soma platform, and that is called betrayal. If he has to talk with President Salva Kiir on phone, he has to talk with the team members of Salva, and he has to talk with other people like Akodilwan. Just for your information, why would Soma trust such a person? What is criminal? You releasing the minutes of maybe Lake State media to the media, and Tiang Paul calling President Kiir that you both oppose and talk to him on brotherly basis. Do you think there is no crime here? This is what Malung has done. He has even made his position clear with his demands in place. Dismiss so, bring me in, give me this ministry, not that one, this one. This is what is happening. Those are old schools, dubious works. They must not suffice in South Sudan if we want a country that we must call home. So Malung has worked against him, and he is still working against it.
Okay, thank you. Before I give a chance to my co-host, Isaac Paul, welcome, Blessed Media. I will give you a floor to put in your question to Sunday. There's an important question Robert has you, Sandy John. First question, Robert said that, are you making a cup against King Malong? Question number 2, why does you resolve your inter-crisis, then go back to Soma? Question number 3, are you saying the rumors that JCE and Kiir want General Malong to be a leader of Soma, was it true?
These are 3 questions in one, and I will answer them like this. I am not staging a coup. First of all, you have not voted Malong to be leader of SAP. And so if it was done by that constitution, I would be asked to have done coup. But this is the consensus of the same members that asked Malong to be leader that have also asked me now. So it is just change of guard. A leader has been changed with me because I'm also a leader. So a change of guard has happened. So it's not a coup. I have not shot at Malong. I have not insulted him. I have not done anything bad. The team has sat down. The group that is called the Leadership Council has made a decision that you take the lead now. This person is stagnating us. So I have not made a coup. A change of guard has happened. That is one. Number two, there are no internal matters to be resolved because Malong has refused to sit down with people. And if you refuse to sit down, nobody can make a solution with you because you are unwilling to talk. Dialogue is what brings a solution. That is one. Number two, the idea that that Malong has been called by Jiang or Weber, what I can confirm is that he talks with President Kiir. Whether there is something called Jiang Council of Elders after that, I have not made any identification about that. But what I know is talking with Kiir. Whatever they are talking on is what Malong knows. And I will not be the advocate for that. Malong is aware, and if he is honest, let him come and tell the public what he has said with Kiir. But all in all, he wants to go to Juba and begging for mercies and want to go and help Kiir because the war will break out. I don't know, perceived or speculated war. So he is the strongest man that will always defend Malong. Look here, I am a young man, Robert Ohide, like yourself. I am not interested to betray my cause. I abandoned my medical field temporarily to pursue the goal. Not interested.
So you are saying that you are not making a coup against Malong.
There is a question I was answering here because he is making so many questions.
Yeah, it seems like Robert is members of Soma. That's why I'm putting up your question.
Yeah, I am not a betrayer of Soma, and I will not betray Soma. This has been reflected in deeds. The colleague in Soma know about my integrity. I do not have any question. It's Malong who made it up with his boys. Just because boys are looking for a space, Malong want to go to Juba with 2 people. I should not go with him. I don't come from his clan. That is it. So I have to be made dirty so that my statement that I mentioned on that day is to be confirmed. And the statement was, if the hyena want to eat the cup, the hyena would first accuse them of smelling like goats. So Malong want me to smell like a goat so that he eats me away. That is not possible. Simply because we were co-workers. We were doing one thing as a team. I was not his messenger. I was also doing the right thing, like he was thinking to do the right thing. That is the ground here. So, Brother Robert, I am not going to betray Soma because from the genesis of Soma, I was there. And even before the genesis of Soma, you can ask Comrade Ian Matthew, we sat and we agreed on a number of things, including the first declaration of principle that led to our going together to Addis Ababa to meet General Thomas. Because we are South Sudanese, we cannot work independent of each other. Our objective is one, we want to change South Sudan for a better. Why would we allow Thomas to suffer alone? We have to join him. He has to join us so that we can suffer together to achieve our goal, the same way we did it during the Liberation Day. And Brother Lohide, I was a Jewish Amer, and I am currently part of what we call the system of South Sudan in liberation struggle days. But the system has fallen, so we have to be the one to change it. We will have no one that will come from heavens to help us change our own face that has gone bad.
All right. Thank you so much, Sunday, and thank you, Abraham.
Isaac, take over.
All right. It's all right. Thank you so much, guys. I will be leaving shortly. I'm dropping off my kid to school. Sorry also to come late, the viewers and Sunday the John. I appreciate your being with us again in the studio today and tonight, wherever the viewers are viewing this interview. I might not, I might be contradicting if some of the question has been asked. I have to repeat them because I was not in the show in the beginning. But I have one more question that I need to ask. Is your, are you, either Soma view you as a leader of the SAF, or who is now being recognized by the Soma itself?
Look, during the Soma workings, after the establishment of Soma, the highest leadership that Soma has is called Leadership Council. Nobody has been selected to lead. because all the leaders are leaders in their respective parties, but they come and converge at the leadership, the LC, Leadership Council of Soma. The Leadership Council of Soma has what they call leaders and alternate leaders.
Okay.
General Malong and myself were the leaders of Soma, sub in Soma leadership.
Okay.
Just like the alternative leadership of NDMPF, Dr. Molana Emanuela Jawin and Dr. Pasquale. Then like for NAS representation is General Thomas and Dr. Lako. And sometimes our colleague also in the secretariat, Peter Natana. Then you go to the SSNMC, where there is Bakindi and Kwajelasu. Like in the real SPLM, where there is General Pagana Mom and Dr. Shirino Iteng. And like also in the UDRM, where there is Tut Dop in absence of the chair, and the alternative leader is also Comrade Deng Banang. These are the leaders, 12. There is no point of recognition. Before I was a leader there, I have contributed ideas and I work with the team. I am a team player. I do not have to cry around about my identity, being identified today as a leader. I was a leader before, and a member of the secretariat of Soma. So I know the working of the Soma, and I do not have problem with the Soma leadership, simply because I have not betrayed them, and I'm not ready to betray them. The whole thing was made by a leader behind me, and you know very well, certain leaders don't follow any constitutional mandate. They only do it at will. So General Malong was random. He doesn't know whether SAP has a law or Soma has a law. He works at will. Even the desire to absent himself and bring in Lual Dao, that we should be the one meeting with the rest because he's bigger than them. This is it. So it's quite traditional. But in a progressive society, nobody is subject to rejection because he's a part and parcel of what people are doing, provided that he's doing it in good faith. This is the underlying thing. So I do not have to cry around. The solution will be made. And Lake State media, like all the other institutions, will be informed about what has transpired. And by the fact that I come here to discuss, I acknowledge you as an entity. And I cannot banish you. I cannot make you disappear because you are there with your own identity as Lake State media. Just the way I have some, that is, I am a leader of people, not myself alone. And therefore, Soma is aspiring to change the trajectory of things in the country called South Sudan. And if that is what Soma is for, Soma wants the like-minded, capable young people, capable elderly people, capable South Sudanese of all walks, regardless of creed, religion, or background, whether they are women or men. This is what Soma aspires for. I do not see myself as a Soma reject because I don't have anything against Soma. And Soma knows I am a South Sudanese that will participate like all of you. And today, if you abandon Lake State media and come, Soma wants you. No problem about that. So that is what happens.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Now you can answer the some questions here. I think Charlie should be writing the question in a brief way that can fit the screen, not to be too long or be a big paragraph. He's saying that. How do you know that General Malong Awan has communication with the Juba regime? Does it include the Artigono? Secondly, do you have a concrete evidence for us ordinary citizens to believe what you are saying against Malong? How do you know? Did you have a communication with the Juba regime too? Thirdly, General Paul Malong Awan stated you sell his confidential information to Juba regime. What are those secret information you sell out to Salva Kiir and why?
Good. This is a very good question from Charles Ipau Itahile. Charles, to answer your question, I would go in brief. Yes, I know General Malong has communicated with Juba regime, particularly Salva Kiir and the cliques around him, because General Malong, after communicating with Salva Kiir, he called me and made me sit down, and then he told me all the things he discussed with Salva Kiir. And when the talks progressed, he wanted me with other team members to take charge as the negotiation team for that purpose, which I objected to, simply because it will be a betrayal to the high table of Soma and the Santi Gideon. You cannot create two fora at the same time. That becomes an offense. Therefore, I can rightly say I also have the evidence that I can adduce as proposals made by Malong to Juba. But because I was against it, I didn't pursue it. And as we are speaking, there is a team that is following that up as a matter of honesty. And they have been sent to a different front that if you want that evidence, it's not supposed to be in the media. Evidence are given in front of a competent court of law that is probing people. I also said I did not sell any information to Juba regime. Malong is incapable of bringing it forward. Sole confidential information. I have sub-military strategy. I have sub-political strategy. And it is not with Juba. What is it in the name of people like your name, my name, put together and say you are Mulazim Awal, I am captain, you somebody is major, and then sent to Juba? To do what with? Our soldiers in the bush, we have ranked them. They're already in the bush. If you send it to Juba, what will happen? They're already fighting with Juba. There's nothing I have sold. Instead, it's Malong who picked that document on his table and brought it back because he has said that he will accuse me one day and then came up with it. This is what I refer to as a hyena eating its cubs by first accusing them that they smell like goats. This is what Malong did. What is it that I can sell? What is it that Juba have to sell me? For me to sell things to them. All in all, I am in opposition, adequate enough than even Malong who sit and play cards. I have concern. I sleep late every day because I am thinking. I wake up early every day because I have to do a policy. All this I have been doing. What is it that Malong has done? All this, Malong has no agenda even. He has nothing. His sentiments are against Kir. Kir has humiliated me. Kir has allowed so-and-so to connive against me. Kir has done this. But he is not saying what he wants to do to South Sudanese. Did you ever see him saying anything that he would do to South Sudanese, my brother? No. Simply because it is a revival, self-revival. He lost power, he wants to go back to power, to gain this and that, fame, resources, and all those. This is not what I am aspiring to. I'm not interested in the leadership. I would have run to Juba from the time we entered into crisis with Malong. That is what people have done in SAP. From the time the elders left, from the time very powerful leaders left, up to now, they have gone. But I am here to pursue a cause. If that is not happening, I have to be here until it happens. So I am not in any way a betrayer. I was part of the SPLA as Jesh Ahmed, trained in Dima as Intishar man. And my conviction is a country that is good, a country that is productive. And these issues of betrayal run in genes. There are certain people that can do it, others cannot. And I can be able to substantiate, which is unnecessary as of now. So let us focus on the realities. The realities are, what do South Sudanese want? They want a peaceful nation, which is full of good things. Good things, you know them. The things we come to Kenya for, the things we go to other places for, are good things. Why don't we make them at our backyard? What is it that we lack? It's simply because there is an issue of governance, nothing more, as well defined in other books that you can be able to read. So I think I have exhausted that question.
All right, thank you so much. You answered Charlie's question. There are more questions coming up. Charlie said, okay, articulated. All right, that's great. Sunday and Abraham himself, I will be going out shortly. I have to drop my kid off to school. I want to be with you in the studio. Maybe I will be with you on my phone when I get in the car. So I say thank you so much for coming up. I believe you have exhausted some of the main questions that ringing in everyone's minds. Abraham, are you there? Abraham, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Yes. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
here. It's a question coming from Mike. There's a question that coming from Mike. Is somewhere from other page on my wall. I'm trying to pull it up so that Sunny very important, so Sunny can answer it.
All right, then no worries. Sunday is ready for those questions, and appreciate your presence Sunday in Lagos State Media Show. We will catch up shortly.
Sure, there is no problem. You can take children to school. They are our future. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you, Isaac. So go ahead. Okay, Sunday, there is a question coming from Mike. He sent that from my personal wall. So he's saying that's the question I'm pulling up. So can you answer that for him?
He's saying I should say 4 things that I will do different from Malong.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, my leadership is progressive. They sit down to discuss issues of South Sudan. With Malong, it doesn't happen. That is one thing that is different from him. Number 2, I am reviewing policies that we will pursue. With every goal, you have to have objectives and the mechanisms that you will use, or a modality or a strategy to pursue it. This is happening now. Thirdly, I abide by laws, including the laws of SAP, of which I am the leader, without trampling on them. And so respect of the laws is what made me not to run to Rome alone. I would have run there. That made me different from Malong. Thirdly, I will not create a side chat with the government that is not on the high table. That will be self-seeking. So that would also make me different from Malong. And I can say more and more, but you have limited yours to 4. If I make answer 6, I will be marked wrong. That is with the principle of examination. You don't write anything unnecessarily. You give the specific necessities. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sunday. So the last question, which is we are done, come to an end of the show. So the last question is, which is the final, because one of my colleagues asking you if there is any possibility of peace between you and General Malong. So I asked you that earlier. So that would be the last final question.
Yeah, I do not have to force Malong to have peace with me. He has rejected this. Even my pleas for him to sit down and form a committee to investigate what has gone wrong have been given a deaf ear. What peace do you tell me? If somebody does not want to sit down with you, how do you make peace with him? By whipping or by doing what? You have peace with people that are willing to talk. We are hopeful now that we will have peace in South Sudan because the delegation of government of South Sudan has been formed to engage with us. And there are mediators putting the things in place. Malong is only interested of the process of elimination. I must eliminate so. I must eliminate so. I must eliminate so and so. Why eliminate everyone? The stage is not yours. And going by the words of Dr. John Garang, you cannot chase me away from war because war is not eatable. How do you finish it alone and deny me a chance? Who will fight in my place? This is what I told Malong. And since he doesn't want SAP to accommodate us by refusing to sit down and listen to the voices of the leadership, I could do nothing but to pursue the agenda independent of him. He is not the only liberator we have in South Sudan. There are other like-minded South Sudanese that I can work with. So I believe this question is well answered enough. Malong does not want peace. He does not even sit down with the people to talk on issues. How does peace come? By looking at each other and keeping quiet? No, you sit down to listen with open minds except the third party. But if you are superior to everyone, how do you gain peace?
Thank you so much, Dr. Sandy John. I hope we come to our end. Thank you so much for coming in. Before I end the show, please, I would like you to give your last word, and then before the end of the show. So go ahead and put your last word in.
My message is, I would like South Sudanese people, and particularly the young people, youth, to understand that them remaining behind in defense of dysfunctional political goons that have looted the country enough and that are still looting it, and that would want recalcitrantly to revive their lifespan after even they have outlived their usefulness, to abandon that cause is not useful to us. Let us effect our positive mental attitude by saying no to mediocrity, by saying no to wrong path, by saying no to marginalization, by saying no to underdevelopment in all sectors, by saying no to what we call political moribundism, and focus our attention as a team collectively to achieve a prosperous South Sudan. These current leaders were youth like us, and they used their energies to achieve South Sudan. A long tick, I don't negate that. They have done it. But that is not a reason for them to remain there, since they can no longer make anything positive for us. I am not advocating that a generation should be phased out. There are some of them that are even willing to team up with us. We can even also go for a smaller generational interrance, not necessarily generational exit. We team up with those that are on course for good of South Sudan, and we chant the corrupt so that they do not stagnate us further. South Sudanese should wake up now. Nothing will come from heaven to redeem them. South Sudanese should reject tribal identification. They should not say, so and so come from this community. I will stand with them and rob that community with their land. I will stand with them and displace this community because they are minority. I am against that idea. And that does not make me a bad citizen. Being on the path of nationhood is expensive. Expensive in the sense that you can even be rejected by your mother and call you stubborn, yet she knows you are on course with the reality. We must not create permanent enmity. If we have wronged each other yesterday, let us say sorry to our brother. We are a diverse society, not because we have chosen to be that diverse, but God made it that way. We have to accept it and accept each other. I am a Dinka, not because I have chosen to be one. I said it many times. But I found myself as a Dinka. But I must not be an obstacle to you, Nuer, or to you, Mundari, or to you, Kaliko, or to you, Pari, or to you, Kachifo, or to you, Murle. We are a nation. You and I are what we call South Sudan. It's not me alone. South Sudan is not mine. I must not take your land. If there is something I would do on your land, let me say, I will come to your land to spend this time like Ambororo. They come to South Sudan. They do not have a mindset to permanently settle there. They come to graze their animals. We give them the right to do. It's a natural right. Let them survive. Survival is a natural right. But they will go back to their places. South Sudan is too large to accommodate all of us, and we cannot fight in a circle. Let us accept that all of us have been endowed differently, and we can coexist as much as we want to. And we will choose the path and the system of governance that is completely needed by all, regardless of me or my community rejecting it. South Sudan should be diverse. It has to be home for all, regardless of their religion or their tribe. I don't see you as a tribe. Don't see me as a tribe. See me as an individual. And if I have wronged you, do not say my tribe has wronged you. It is simply me who did that, not on behalf of the tribe, because I don't have a mandate from them to go and misbehave towards you. I salute South Sudanese, and I wish them good things to happen to them, including good health. And I know everything is skyrocketing in terms of economy. We have a polter system, but you are not going to die all. Simply because I know one thing. During the liberation days, you were the pillars of the struggle. And I know you are surviving because of that reason, not because the system is favoring you. But there is this one hope. There will be new dawn, whether now or in the future. And South Sudan will be great again with accomplishments that are surpassing what we have today and what others have. Because a diverse society is endowed with many things, including abundance of resources, but being utilized badly, a time will come when we will be laughing and giggling as brothers and sisters in Christ and as one nation, defending each other with even blood. This is South Sudan as we want. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sunday John, for coming in Legacy Media. This is the last end of our interview. For those of you tuning in tonight and this evening, thank you for watching. For those of you who complain about Legacy Media, is a media for the South Sudanese all. We are open. Side John Malong, we are open to John Malong to host them too. We hosted them 2 weeks ago. And invitation, we send them invitation, and they are open to come on to say their side of the story. We are open to everybody. We are South Sudanese. Everybody is welcome in this platform. We don't see each other as a different. We all South Sudanese. We just come to this media to air our opinion. Above all, we need peace to come to South Sudan. So this is the reason why Legacy Media hosting this kind of show, so that those people who have disagreement, they come to the dialogue and reach the common ground to have a peace, so that our people suffering so long. Our people, South Sudan, people are suffering so long. So the only thing we need in South Sudan right now, we need peace. Because you see that the economy is going into the dish. So this is the one that I want to let our South Sudanese know. Legacy Media is here for everybody. It's not for specific tribe. So thank you so much, Dr. John, Sunday John. Have a good night. So my show will end here. The show again, I want to repeat myself. We are open. General Paul Malong's side, if they want to come to Legacy Media again, we are welcome to hear their side of the story. So thank you so much. Have a good night.
Jenga doga nimbo maro, jenga nimbo maro, jenga doga nimbo maro, doga nimbo maro. Jadwal alamda, alam junuamda, alam juokol, alam junuamda, alam juokol, alam junuamda, alam juokol. Jenga kunwer kushulu kanya kumurle, jenga kunwer kushulu kanya kumurle. Boro kuzande gujur ber bacholi bupajulu Rogalim mamanu edabai Ba nyiketu kudang rinabai Ba nyiketu kudang nidabai Ba nyiketu kudang rinabai Ba nyiketu kudang nidabai Maliko kriya ban gujuru kamanda 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 Ba nyiketu kudang rinabai Ba nyiketu kudang nidabai Ba nyiketu kudang rinabai
Thank you guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Denga kunwer kushulu kwala kumurle koro kuzande wujur bel bacholi kupajulu lokandi bawan wadabai ba nyiketo kudang rine bai ba nyiketo kudang mide bai ba nyiketo kudang rine bai ba nyiketo kudang mide bai aliko kriye ban gujuru komanda 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 ba nyiketo kudang rine bai ba nyiketo kudang mide bai ba nyiketo kudang rine bai
Thank you.
It's your boy Young Love, I give him that thing. Pancho leg stand and punchy America. Panji dwell, banaban. Pancho leg stand and punchy America. Panji dwell, banaban. Walk on your leg, kankaro what on a watching. Oga leg, gear, wow, leg. Panda with ya, punchy America. Panya dwell, bano. Chingatongo pandon, could you ever buy a check? Papu panda gear, what ya be, dwell, venting. Stand and punchy America, Panji dwell, Banaban, Pancho leg stand and punchy America, Panji dwell, Banaban, walk on your leg, Kankaro what on a watching, Oga leg, gear, wow, leg, Panda with ya, Panchi America, Panya dwell, Bano, Chingatongo, Pandon, Kujura by a check.
Thank you. Have a good night.